Welcome inside the Odeum Expo Center. I'm Kyle Smith along with Dale Stasch.
How you doing, Kyle?
I'm doing all right. How about yourself?
I'm doing great. Hey, we're back here, finally back here at the Odeum for the Chicago Blitz Indoor Arena Football. I'm excited.
I'm excited too. Now, indoor football, it's a different type of football. It's running clock until the last minute. When you blitz, Dale, you can only blitz through the A gap as a linebacker. Very interesting game.
Tell the people what the A gap is.
The A gap is between the center and the guard. Now, you cannot blitz off the around the guard. You can only go inside the center and the guard. So you blitz, but the quarterback can steal the entire way. So they try to make it easier for the quarterback to read the blitz.
Well, I'm glad that's the case, because we got a quarterback in the blitz lineup today that's got to have some help.
Yeah, Demetrius Jones, he had a hand injury. He's out for the next 4 months, which means his season is over. But Powell came in off the bench and was fantastic. In fact, the Blitz were trailing 28-12 in that game against Western Michigan. They almost won that. The game ended on an interception in the end zone. The Blitz came all the way back, took the lead. Western Michigan got the lead back, and then Powell off the bench. How about that? A young quarterback comes in as the backup. We've seen it before in the NFL. The Rams went all the way to the Super Bowl with a backup quarterback.
Right.
So are the Blitz okay even though Jones is not playing for the rest of the season?
Well, the thing that has to happen is they have to be able to play all of the game. They can't let up, because everything happened in the last minute and a half last week that lost the game for them. Now they're playing again to the team that they beat on the first game of the season, 33-22, I think.
33-22, yeah.
And this is the home and home series for them. So it's only the third game of the season. They're 1-1 right now, but they need to come back on track.
Now the problem is there's not that many games, and only 3 teams from each division make the playoffs, so every game matters for the Blitz, especially against Northern Kentucky. I don't want to be mean, but when you're 0-3, sometimes your record tells you what kind of season you're having. But this might be a game where Northern Kentucky can finally put it together. The Blitz can't get off the gas pedal and just go through and get another victory today.
Exactly right. That's the way I feel too, because if they go easy on a team that's 0-3, and then what happens last week, you're down 1-2, and that's not good. You're just the same as they are in terms of where they are in the standings almost. So they got to stay on track, and I know our head coach here, Mike Oliver, is thinking that way.
And 3 teams make the playoffs, but more importantly for the Blitz, you almost want to win out, because if you win the division, you get a first-round bye for that playoff game. So every game matters now for the Blitz going on out. Demetrius Jones will not be playing a quarterback, but what we saw from the backup, he looked equally as good as Demetrius last week.
Yeah, and exactly. And this kid's going to have a good game today, I can tell. But also, this team has experience. You're talking about playing it out through the rest of the season. This team, the Chicago Blitz, has experience. They went to the championship game last year and lost to York in the final game of the season. So they know what it takes to get all the way, and almost all the way. And they're gung-ho. They want to win this year. They want to win it all in the AIF, and that's what we're hoping they'll start doing tonight.
After what happened last year, they gave York a big battle in that championship game, just came up short. So this Blitz team, they're not just thinking playoffs, they're thinking about a deep run in the playoffs and maybe that championship game.
Absolutely, and we got to play this game first. And hey, I tell you, I went around looking at concessions. I'm hungry today. I'm going to be sneaking down to the concession stands. They got hot dogs here for $4, nachos $4, beers $4. I mean, how can you beat that for a professional game?
For sure. I mean, you can get a hot dog at Wrigley Field for $4 plus another $4.
Yes, if you want the whole hot dog. But I'm going to be out there this year too, seeing how the Cubs are doing, and I'm actually going to a Sox game.
Oh, you're going to a Sox game, huh? Make sure you bring your coat. It was snowing yesterday.
I tell you, it's good to be inside in an indoor football game in the spring here in Chicago.
Back to football, of course, you brought up that it's indoors. Now, you would think that the game is only about the passing game, but they do run the ball. Al, what is crucial for the Blitz in order to run the ball and keep the clock moving?
Well, it's everything about the line, being able to get those gaps open for them so they can run the ball. If you stop them dead, then you got to go to the pass all the time. And we've talked about it a lot in terms of indoor arena football. You've got like 2-3 seconds to get the ball off. So it's not very intricate plays. You got to be able to snap the ball and get the play off. And running game is just as important as passing. And also on defense. We talked about what happened last week where the game got taken away from them in the last minute. You got to have defense that is strong for the whole game and make sure that they can stop the other team. Coach Mike Oliver says if they can stop their opponents 3-4 times in a game, they got a good chance to win.
You talked about how last week got away from the blitz. They were winning that game, and then they gave up that kick return the other way for a touchdown. Special teams has hurt this team. Do you think on those kickoffs that Harshbarger is going to do some squib kicks to try to help out her special teams unit to make sure that no more return sixes happen?
Well, we'll see. I mean, that's a good idea to make sure that they don't get a running start at you and the blocking schemes don't work. Or do work for the special teams, but I'd like to see them kick it down and make sure that they stay down deep in this only 50-yard field. You give a squib kick and somebody runs it up 15 yards, you're like at the red zone.
Yeah, so there is no easy way. That's what's so interesting about indoor football, is that there is no easy way for the kickoffs. If it hits the rafters, it's a dead ball, which means it would be considered out of play at the NFL level, which in the NFL, if you kick it out of bounds on the kickoff, it's good field position for the other team. So you want to kick the ball in the air, but you don't want to make sure it goes too high. It's not exactly ideal for a place kicker in indoor football.
No, it isn't. And the scoreboard hangs right down at midfield here at the Odeum, and it's about 20 feet down from the peak of the roof here. And then on both of the end zones, it's down pretty low. So you got to have some pretty good touch in order to get that ball deep on a kickoff.
Now the defense for the Blitz has been good pretty much for the season. They gave up 22 points in that first game. Gave up 34, but we'll say it's 27 because they gave up that kick return on special teams. So that the defense has given up less than 30 points in each of their first two games. You think that'll happen tonight?
I think so too. That's important. The defense has they got stung a little bit last week. They know that they were the ones that were on the field when the game was lost, and you don't never want to be in that position. So they're going to be coming out here full bore. I was standing over by the bench earlier today when the team came out for pregame warm-ups. We got some big guys on this team. Oh my God, I'm not tiny, but man, are these guys huge, and I want to see them use their prowess and their weight and their size against this Kentucky team tonight.
We can't talk I would love to talk all day about Powell, how great he did, but we only have 5 minutes for the show.
Yeah.
Real quickly, how do you think that Mike Oliver will utilize him in the passing game? Do you think that he will do short passes to kind of get him into rhythm, or do you think he's going to have a lot of confidence in his back and say, here's a playbook, kid, it's your game?
Well, I don't know. I look at him and I see his size, his height, and I'm wondering, remember Doug Flutie had a lot of passes. Doug Flutie was a former Chicago Bear, and other teams he played in the NFL and in the Canadian Football League. And he was always being blocked in the middle of the line when he tried to pass the ball. He always had to get a little out of the pocket in order to get a line to his receivers. I don't know if he's got the time to do that, but I'm a little worried about his height in terms of these big guys on the line being able to throw their hands up and blocking a pass.
So to combat that, probably 1 second quicker on the passes than if you had Demetrius Jones and taking the snaps.
Yeah, and get it out there quick, or get it out by doing a option type play out on the end of the field.
Well, it should be a good one, Al. It's the Blitz against the Nightmare coming up next.